Mic check for the YouTube stream. Mic check for the YouTube stream.
Good afternoon. My name is Nancy Ullman, and I will be chairing today's Scarborough Committee of Adjustment hearing. Panel members joining me today are Eric Howe, Asif Khan, Ann Macaulay, and David Stinson. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw that apply to the property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and it is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person and others will participate virtually. The meetings are streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing can watch on YouTube. Those who chose to participate virtually and registered in advance will be connecting via video or audio, and all virtual participants will be automatically muted upon entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time, and we ask that you mute your devices until you are called upon to speak. Those participating by video will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when their item is called, and during this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your allotted speaking time or to answer questions. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline, and those participating virtually are not allowed to use the share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the committee's decision on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for the decision by email. Please include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the committee's decision, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, also known as TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons, and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustments. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda, and where an application is uncontested, The agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee, and I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute mark. Any presentation or other supporting materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revisions are accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating virtually. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Panel members and staff, are there any declarations of interest?
Through the chair, I wish to declare a declaration of interest on item number 20.
Item number 20.
20 Thomas Avenue. I have a relative who lives within the statutory notification area. So during this item, I will excuse myself and Sarah Ovens, Senior Planner, will be the acting Deputy Secretary Treasurer for that item.
Thank you. Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, are there any files to be closed or any deferrals this afternoon?
Through the chair, there are 2 deferrals for the afternoon session. The first item is item 23, 228 Scarborough Golf Club Road. Deferral due to the sign not being posted in accordance with the Planning Act. And in addition, the applicant has requested deferral to address concerns raised by Urban Forestry and Transportation Review.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 23. All right, I do believe we have one speaker virtually and we have the agent. Is there anybody in the audience for item number 23, 228 Scarborough Golf Club Road? Seeing none. There is? Okay, could you come to the front, please, sir? Hi, are you speaking in opposition or are you in support or?
I am speaking in opposition, but I understand what a request for
Right,
deferral
could
is.
you give us your name and address, please, for the record?
It is Peter Thatchuk,
Ah.
THA, and it's 248 Scarborough Golf Club Road. I understand this is a request for deferral. That is not because of a lack of notice sign being posted. But that is not what was said in the letter that's on the AIC. I just want that.
No, just to be clear, the applicant, in addition to not having posted the sign, also was looking to resolve forestry and transportation issues, if I'm not mistaken.
Understand that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't.
no, so just for, are you in favor? We're not taking like full depositions on this today, other than for the deferral. So are you in favor of deferral?
I understand your question, but what I want to say is simply that I believe that the non-posting is a denial of natural justice. I know it's been acknowledged, but what I'm suggesting as a quasi-judicial body, I'm not even sure that you can even hear the application legally under the Planning Act. And I will leave you
Well,
with
that's
that.
noted, which is why we would defer it regardless of.
What I'm
his
saying is I don't think you can
request.
make even that decision.
Well, actually, we can.
Okay.
So,
I just want it on the record from our.
yeah, no, that's fine. You're on the record, but this is not the first time this has happened, and we do have the authority to defer.
All
So,
right,
so
I hear.
you're okay with the deferral, and then,
I'm not going to comment on it.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
So is there somebody else online other than the agent? No? Okay. So can I have Mr. DeMarco then, please?
Madam Chair and members, DeMarco initial G. I'm seeking an adjournment on this matter. Aside from the non-posting, we want to address both transportation and urban forestry in order to have a consensus of approval.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
All right, panel members, we're in committee, so this is for the deferral request. Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would move approval of deferral of this application so that the applicant could address the posting of notice issue as well as discuss with urban forestry transportation. I note this deferral request is at the request of the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, if good with you, I'll second the motion.
Okay. I have a motion to defer the item moved by Mr. Howe, seconded by Mr. Stinson. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, are there any other deferrals?
Through the chair, the last deferral request for the afternoon session is item number 25, 3224 Danforth Avenue and 2 Wanstead Avenue. Deferral at the request of the applicant in order to correctly identify all required variances.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience for 3224 Danforth Avenue? Okay, is there anyone other than the agent online? No. Okay, could I have the agent, please?
Members and committee staff, my name is Christian Chan. I'm an agent for the applicant. My address is Suite 138 at 157 Adelaide Street, West Toronto, Ontario.
And you're asking for a deferral, sir?
Yes, Madam Chair. We received a zoning notice in late October pursuant to plans that were submitted for zoning examination review on September 5th. It was to be received mid-month in September, but we didn't receive it until last week, which was after the date that the public notice had been mailed out. And that zoning examiner's notice identified additional variances that are not encapsulated in the public notice that was mailed out, and therefore we require recirculation of the public notice to accurately state the variances identified. This application was previously deferred in mid-August 2025 to address community planning and transportation review staff's comments, which have been since resolved. But administratively, with regards to the extra variances identified on the zoning examiner's notice, we require recirculation to return to the next available hearing date. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, is this to the December hearing or is it first available?
Through the chair, it will be to the first available, which in this case happens to be December.
Okay, so we can defer to December then, is that correct?
Through the chair, you can.
Okay, panel members, we're in committee. I'll need a motion. Anybody?
Okay, Chair.
Vincent?
Thank you. I move that we defer this matter due to the nature of the ZAP that occurred and the timing of it all. And that's my thoughts on that.
Do I have a seconder? Ms. McCauley? Okay. Motion to defer to the December hearing moved by Mr. Stinson, seconded by Ms. McCauley. All in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Okay, we'll now go to item number 19. Okay, That is 11 WILLOWLEA Drive. We have before us public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, previous decisions affecting the property. We have a cover letter from the agent. We have a letter from the applicant's lawyer. We have an arborist report prepared by Coons Forestry Consulting. We have tree and site photos, a servicing plan. We have reports from community planning are asking for a condition. Heritage is asking for a condition, engineering conditions. And forestry is asking for conditions 1 and 2, I believe, on all of the applications. So do we have, let's see, any speakers listed? No, I don't show any speakers other than the agent. Is there anybody in the audience for 11 WILLOWLEA Drive? Seeing none. Okay, do you have the agent on the line?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Hi, can you speak up a little bit, please, sir? And I need your name and address for the record.
Absolutely. So my name is Shiraz Kevorkian. I'm the agent of the client at WILLOWLEA Drive. My address is 106 Lakeshore Road, East Mississauga.
Okay, sir, panel members, I'm not sure we need a presentation. No, do any of you have any questions? No questions? Sir, we're actually ready to make a decision on this matter. Is there anything you want to add that's not in the material? And I'll just ask you, are you aware of the conditions from planning, forestry, heritage, and engineering?
So we are aware of the decisions and the notes from the planning, forestry, and heritage.
Okay, sir, thank you. All right, we're in committee, planning members. Committee members. Ms. McCauley.
Thank you. This is a very good report. It is comprehensive, it's full. It's not often that we get a consent application with 7 parts. But this one, I just lost my computer. Sorry. This one is a consent application with variances on 3 of the parts. The conditions are clear and the application also is clear. I move approval subject to the conditions from heritage, urban design, urban forestry, engineering, and a condition that parts 3 and 4 be conveyed to the owners of abutting lands through a lot addition, and we have received a letter from the solicitor saying that he's in agreement with that.
Okay, do I have a seconder for this motion?
Thank you, Chair. I will second the motion.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve, including the planning conditions in the May 8th report. We have forestry conditions 1 and 2, heritage conditions in the January 4th report, and engineering conditions in the July 10th report. That's moved by Ms. McCauley, seconded by Mr. Howe. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Okay, item number 20, and the Deputy Secretary has a conflict, so Sarah will be taking over. This is item 20 is 20 Thomas Avenue. We have minutes from the July 4th public hearing. We have the previous agenda package from that meeting. We have a public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, draft our plan of survey, a cover letter from Mr. Bankowski. The agent, we have tree and site photos, supporting materials from the agent. We have reports for from engineering with conditions for approval. We have forestry conditions, archaeological report from heritage with conditions and planning conditions. And we have correspondence in opposition from residents on Thomas Avenue, numbers 22, 23, and 19, and 21, as well as 265 Port Union Road and 25 Glenthorne Avenue. Okay, any second? Okay, I'm showing several speakers here. Do we have speakers online?
Through the chair, it does not appear we do. No.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. You're still looking?
Through the chair, we don't have anyone online. Everyone's in person.
For item 20, nobody?
Yep.
Okay. And you're here for item 20?
Correct, Madam Chair. Jonathan Mitzkowski, 301 Keewatin Avenue.
Okay, I didn't recognize you because are you doing the Movember thing too?
I think it's the lazy thing, Madam Chair.
Is there anybody in?
Watching a lot of baseball is probably.
Okay. Are there any people in the audience that are here that want to speak to 20 Thomas Avenue? Okay, can you all come down and maybe sit over here for now? How many of you are speaking? Staff, is there a way to get someone in a wheelchair? I have no idea. All right, folks, how many of you are speaking? There is an elevator, but staff would have to show you if that person wants to come down in the wheelchair. Maybe, Eric, are you gonna? Thanks. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to ask Mr. Benkowski to do a presentation. 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could we bring up the support material I filed? This was a deferred application previously to address some original comments from planning about the proposed frontage of Part 2. We increased the frontage of Part 2 to 13 meters as was requested by planning. So the alteration essentially deals with the lot areas as well as the lot frontages for Part 1 as well as Part 2. Just to put this in context, this is an existing 27.44 meter lot or 90 feet. If we can go to the next page, please. Along this stretch of Thomas, which is a cul-de-sac street, we are the property that is identified in purple. There is essentially one other similar lot along this stretch in terms of frontage. It is a lot immediately to the east at essentially 30 meters. So to put the perspective into the character of Thomas itself, the two properties being the subject property at 20 as well as the lot to the east are out of character with the existing built form and fabric as well as lot frontage and lot areas along this stretch. There are two other wider lots, as we can see on the right, that are identified in yellow. Those really are not comparable, again, due to the reduced lot depth of being 24.32 meters or 80 feet. So in terms of them being a possibility of a future severance, and I hate to use the idea of that word precedence because, again, we really examine on a case-by-case basis. Those would simply not be possible, again, due to that reduced lot depth that they have itself. So again, sticking with the map that we have here, there are different zoning categories that exist along this street. We have the areas in blue, the areas in yellow, as well as the one on the kind of the southwest portion that is identified as being gray. What is important is the difference in the zoning categories itself, and that is reflected in the variances that are before you. So if we look at the lots that are identified in yellow, the actual lot frontage requirement is that which existed on the date of the passing of this bylaw. That also coincides with the minimum lot area. What that is telling us is not that a consent or a severance is not possible. We go back to 415 of the official plan about the appropriateness of that severance and whether that respects and reinforces the character of the neighborhood. Not that a severance can't occur, but again, that takes us back to rather being a physical number, whereas we see immediately adjacent to us at the east, that has a minimum lot frontage of 15 meters. We know that. In this case, there is no minimum lot frontage. It is just simply that which existed on the date of the passing of this bylaw. So that takes us to the character of the neighborhood and where it fits in with the other lots. And again, as I've shown you, there is only one other similar lot of this frontage along this stretch. If we could go to the next page, please. So I've created a couple of maps really to look at the difference in the massing of what is there. And if we could just maybe zoom in on the top, the perspective view there, that's the existing streetscape and massing of Thomas Street here with the existing house on the property. Again, we see probably the smallest dwelling that is located along this stretch of Thomas. We do see this, the dwelling to the east being set further back from the property line of the subject property, and I'll discuss that later when I talk about the FSI and the massing. We go to the next page, please. So here, what I've done, if we again zoom in on that perspective in the top corner there, we see the actual massing of what we are proposing on the site. So those are the two dwellings that are being proposed. And I want to emphasize the dwellings we are proposing have no side yard setback, front yard setback, or rear yard setback. Those are all as per the zoning bylaw, as well as building length, as well as building depth. So in terms of the built form and what you see, that is essentially compliant with the zoning bylaw. If we could go down to the next page, please. If we could now maybe just zoom in on that purple. What I've now done here is I've taken what would be a zoning compliant bylaw dwelling on that property if it were to exist today. Again, taking the permitted side yard setbacks, taking the permitted FSI, as well as the coverage, that is the massing you would see in purple, which would by far be the largest dwelling on the street. So that takes us back to 4.1.5, the tests of not only prevailing massing, but as well as the prevailing frontage and lot areas of what exists. If we can continue on to the next one, because I am going to run out of time here. I do want to just speak to two last things. There's two variances that are in front of you. One deals with the number of stories for part one, and the other one deals with the platform of part one. That is simply because of what is being interpreted as the first floor. In this case, if the basement were to be excavated further down with that yellow area, the streetscape would remain unchanged, but that would now be considered a two-story dwelling with that platform being off the functional first floor being permitted. Lastly, if you will just give me about 30 seconds, Madam Chair, I just want to speak about the appropriateness of this development. You will see that there are FSI requests. Now, if these were to be multiplexes, those would disappear. But what I would say, part of the appropriateness of a consent is where that dwelling is able to fit on the property itself. For part one, we have a 599 square meter house, or 6,447 feet. And for part two, we have 311 square meters, or 3,347 square meters without one built form variance. There is not one setback, there is not one building length or one building depth. So again, with this large lot, it is able to accommodate a larger dwelling without any built form variance. I would love one more second, Madam Chair, if possible, or you know what?
Maybe address it when
I will deal with it after.
there's questions, I think.
Thank you.
Okay. Panel members, do you have any questions, or do you want to hold them till we hear from the speakers? Ms. McCauley, you have a question?
To the applicant. Mr. Burkowski? That's your name, right?
It's different every time, but we'll go with that one for today.
It's close. Okay, I believe you're a planner by profession.
I am, Madam. Yes,
Okay.
through you, Madam Chair.
Have you read the staff report regarding the Highland Creek Community Secondary Plan?
I have. I absolutely have. And what I would speak to that is the proposed front lot area on that property is 768 square meters.
Yeah.
The secondary plan is looking for 800 square meters. The general purpose and intent of the lot area is to provide two things. One, sufficient amenity space in the outside to accommodate a dwelling. And the next is to fit in with the character of the neighborhood. If we go back to my lot frontage and my lot area map I presented earlier, you will see we are in conformity with that. And again, the appropriateness that we see of the rear yard setback, and I will come back with the exact number after, Madam Chair, that's the intent and purpose of the lot area. In my opinion, and then I'm quite frankly fairly surprised at planning over 30 square meters, where again, it's 800 square meters. We're talking over 8,000 square feet of lot area that they would write a report like this. Funny enough, that wasn't mentioned in the initial staff reports where we increased it to 13 meters with the conversation with planning. So I'm quite surprised that over 30 square meters on 800 square meter secondary plan that they have an issue with that. Where again, and I spoke to the appropriateness of the sizes of the dwellings without one built form variance. So we're not shoehorning large houses on small lots. We're placing large houses on large lots. And there's no policy in a secondary plan or an official plan that is saying maintain these large lots for this reason.
Would you not agree that a consent application has to conform to the policies of the official plan?
Absolutely.
And would you not agree that the Highland Creek secondary plan, which is an official plan, states for this area, the minimum lot area is, I just have to pull it up here again, is
I can help you. It's 800.
830 square meters.
Correct.
So in my mind, also as a planner, the consent doesn't conform to the official plan because it doesn't meet the policy which defines, whether we agree with it or not, but it defines the minimum lot size in this section of Highland Creek. Do you agree that?
I respectfully, through you, Madam Chair, Ms. McCauley, I don't agree. The official plan, again, is to be read in its entirety. I completely agree with that. But again, we go back to the overarching principles of respecting and reinforcing and fitting within a neighborhood. In my opinion, this reduction that we're proposing is not out of character with what is in the neighborhood. This lot area exists along this streetscape. It is there. So
Okay.
for me to pull 12 inches off of one lot to get to the 830 square meters really does not serve any purpose.
I don't believe you were here at the last meeting where this application was heard. And there was the calculations done as to whether, in fact, you could create 2 lots, as you're proposing, with each lot having a minimum of 830 square meters. And the answer was no. I
was here. I requested the deferral at the last hearing.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you remember that at the very tail end of the discussion, that calculation was done, I believe, by one of the planners and said, no, even if you change the lot lines, you simply don't have the lot area. She may have gone on to say that the city of Toronto is considering looking at this policy, but they haven't yet. And so whether we agree with it or don't agree with it, the policy stands as the official plan policy for this part of Scarborough and for the area that we have this application.
Through you, Madam Chair, Ms. McCauley, I don't believe I'm saying I disagree with the secondary plan policy. And I don't remember discussion at the deferral hearing of us going back and forth about that. I don't remember that. It was a straight deferral that was requested by myself. Again, it's not that I don't agree with a policy. The policy is there. It does say 830 square meters. There's no argument about that. What I'm saying is the appropriateness in relation to the policies of the official plan that speak to respecting and reinforcing prevailing lot frontage and lot area. This proposal fits that. The proposal isn't saying to keep a 1,600 square meter lot. That's not what the proposal is saying. Sorry, that's not what the policy is saying. So I don't agree with that, Ms. McCauley, at all.
Okay, all right. You and I may disagree. I believe that if the policy is as precise as it is, then we need to follow it. May not like it, but until it's changed, and I understand that there may be some discussion to change it because it's an old policy, but it still stands on the books.
But
And
by
that's
that,
what we have to look
All
at.
right.
But-
I'm going to stop you guys here. Mr. Khan has a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. My questions are simple and I'll appreciate a very brief answer. Sir, I'm taking your 3-story instead of 2. And you are also exceeding height,
correct.
10.99, which exceed 0.99 than the maximum allowed. You have amended variance number 1. Previously, you had 15.24 or 14.24. You increased to 15.24 in part number 1. And you also, in part number 2, you improved from lot frontage from 12.19 to 13.01. So all these that I brought to your kind attention, when you are exceeding the maximum 10 meters height and you are providing 3 stories, while it is not the character of the area, 2 stories, big frontage, lot area, also as my colleague has discussed, is not leading me to the point where I should be listening to your variances sympathetically.
Through you, Madam Chair, if we could bring up the last page that I've provided in my supporting documents, that the 3-story requirement is strictly tied to the excavation of the basement. As I mentioned, if we could just zoom in on that dimension on the right side of the screen, if the basement were to be excavated, that additional, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, 0.915 meters. The basement is excavated 0.915 meters or 3 feet. This is now interpreted as a 2-story dwelling. This is technically being considered a 3-story dwelling because of the slab of the basement in relation to the underside of the floor joist. Now, the look of the dwelling would not change with this excavation below grade. Nothing would change from the streetscape. So in terms of what somebody would see along the street, they wouldn't be able to notice this excavation below grade. But it would now be considered a 2-story dwelling, which would eliminate 2 variances. That's one of the nuances of the zoning bylaw itself. So it would actually be a 2-story dwelling if this were to be dug deeper by 0.915 meters or 3 feet essentially.
So you could have achieved 3 stories had you had main wall height reduced to the maximum 7.5. You have exceeded in variance number 5 again. So you are exceeding 7.5 maximum. So you are asking 8.53. So this is leading all these things which you are crossing the border, the maximum. You are achieving the 3rd story.
Through you, Madam Chair, that's actually incorrect. The actual dwelling itself, if we look here, is 1.2 meters above grade, which is standard. Nothing has been pushed up to create the 3rd story. If we look here, it is a conventional dwelling with a 1.2 meters above grade. So it would be one thing if my established grade to my 1st floor platform or my finished 1st floor was pushed up. It is not. I do not have a variance for that. There aren't egregious heights that are being requested for the floor heights that we can zoom in on. So that really isn't the case. It is not being pushed up for the 3rd story. It is entirely below grade, which is causing that.
May I kindly bring to your kind notice that 4 departments, different departments, forestry, they have conditions, and heritage protection, they have conditions, engineering review, they have conditions. Staff is recommending refusal. So these are not leading what you are telling me.
Again, through you, Madam Chair, that is not correct, Mr. Khan. The only department that is recommending refusal is the planning department. Forestry has standard conditions, engineering has standard conditions, and so does heritage. Those are not refusal recommendations.
All right, I'm going to stop our questions and I'd like to go to the speakers. So whoever's speaking, if you want to sit in the front row here, that'd be great. And then I'll have you back, Mr. Benkowski, to address any concerns raised. So 3 of you are speaking or 4?
2 of us are together.
Okay. All right, so then you have 5 minutes together, okay? So what I would like you to do first is to state your names and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Chair, committee members, and neighbors. Our names are Rex and Sandra Ramdeal, and we are at 22 Thomas Avenue.
All right, so I don't know which one of you wants to speak first, but as soon as you start speaking, your 5 minutes starts. So go ahead.
So we've been in the development for over 20 years. And the reason our family first moved to Thomas Avenue many years ago was because of the charming character of our neighborhood. We love our beautiful neighborhood. And thanks for letting us speak today. I'll just let you talk a little bit and then I'll continue.
Just to clarify that we, on June 4th, were here, and whatever we submitted at that time, we just wanted to make sure that will be included in this particular objection. And
Yes, everything is here before us, including objections, all the material from the last hearing. It's all
Okay.
in our
perfect.
packages.
And that's for those that are not here in person that were here previously. Perfect. And one last thing is that we did not receive, I guess, due to the mail strike, any notice of this hearing. We were fortunate that another neighbor did, that was not on our street, got it and did forward it to us. So just wanted that to be noted.
Okay, thank you.
So as my husband said, we did send a letter outlining the number of concerns and objection to this minor variance proposal. But we wanted to quickly talk about a few key things that really matter to us and will affect our quality of life. I have 6 quick points, and I will go with the first one. The footprint of the proposed housing structures are nothing like we have on Thomas Avenue. They're very tall, they're very large, and taking up most of the property with very little green space or land around them. It's a very disproportionate building to the lot size, nothing like any of our homes on Thomas Avenue. And honestly, I don't have all the numbers or anything here. You guys have all of that information. The gentleman before is mentioning some things that are, in his opinion, facts. It's what we see that is a fact. That's the way I look at it. And it exceeds all of the requirements. It's not a minor variance. Number 2, as a result of this proposal, we would be looking out of our windows on the east side of our home with little or no normal or natural light and a view to a building, again, not like anything on our street. Number 3, also the proposed 3-story building, as I mentioned before, it's just not seen on our neighborhood. Number 4, the massive height and extended rear platform or outdoor deck is almost 5 times over the limit set by the city and will drastically alter the streetscape and intrude on the privacy of everyone. And once again, it's not seen in our neighborhood. Number 5, all of these major variances, including the proposed downward sloping driveway below ground into the garage, might affect the drainage, and we would request to please have an analysis of the impact to our property, our street, and surrounding areas. Number 6, the number and magnitude of variances, including height stories, lot coverage, and more, are far beyond what can reasonably be called minor. They represent a significant overdevelopment that doesn't align with the existing character or scale of Thomas Avenue. This proposal doesn't meet key policy requirements and poses serious risks to our neighborhood's character and livability. We respectfully ask the committee to refuse the application or at the very least require significant revisions in line with the community standards. Thank you.
Thank you. Panel members, do you have any questions of this, Mr. Stinson?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your presentation. You said you had 22?
That's right.
That's not an original house, is it?
No,
No. How high is your house?
don't know, 2 stories.
2 stories, okay. And you have the irregular lot in the corner? Okay, I just want to be assured of that because we're talking about a street that when I look at it, and you've lived on it, I did take a drive down it for the record. There's quite a bit of diversity on that street, from original homes to stuff like 13, 15, 17 that are quite close together. They're, by all accounts, in my view, modern homes that exceed 2 stories when you look at the roof line. So I just wanted to be clear, sort of in my own mind. Do you disagree?
That is true. However, from what I understand, the lot that's being proposed or the new building would be more of a loft style home. I may be incorrect, but that's how it presents itself to me. Which, again, due to some of the numbers that were provided, we expect some of that sun blockage and things like that may intrude on our property and may affect that.
It's true. It may happen. Did you say loft style?
is it the square type of building, you know, is it that the term? I'm not sure. It's like a squarish building.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So it's, if I hear you correctly, it's more of a boxier shape than you feel fits in the character of what's already there.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions for the speakers? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I have the next speaker, please?
Connie Morvillo, 21 Thomas Avenue.
All right, go ahead.
All right, good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee, and fellow neighbors. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Connie Morvillo, and I live at 21 Thomas Avenue, directly across the street from 20 Thomas, which is the property under consideration for severance. I'm here today to respectfully oppose the application to sever 20 Thomas into two unequal parcels of land. The proposed frontage for Part 2 falls below the minimum specified in the city's secondary plan for large lot areas, which includes Thomas Avenue. This request does not conform to the official plan's intent to protect stable residential neighborhoods and conflicts with the zoning principles that ensure appropriate lot size and spacing. This smaller lot would disrupt the established large lot sizes found on Thomas Avenue. The character of our street consists of mainly two-story detached single-family homes. There are no three-story homes on our street. And they're all on 50-foot lots, with the exception of my neighbor at 23, but the builder, because I've been there since all the homes were 23, 21, and 19 were all built at the same time from Antonio Colangelo, and he built the home for us. He did get a special variance to build 23 Thomas at the 50-foot mark. So he had to bring the houses back, and he did get that special approval. So yes, they have a smaller frontage at the front, but that was the condition, that the house be built at the 50-foot lot line. So we have mature trees on our street with generous setbacks and an open airy feel to the street. This is not a neighborhood of narrow lots with tall, imposing new builds. It is a neighborhood of space, light, and proportion, where the houses have breathing space and are proportionate to their lots. This brings me to my second objection, which relates to the proposed variance for Part 1 to allow a three-story home that has a building height of 10.99 meters versus the permitted 10-meter limit and a floor space index which far exceeds the maximum permitted. These two variances alone will result in a home that is exceedingly out of proportion to the existing homes around it. I also strongly object to the requested variance for Part 2, which has a greater floor space index than the maximum permitted because it's also being requested for a much smaller lot. These proposed homes are incompatible in scale with the existing homes on Thomas Avenue. I believe that they will tower over adjacent properties, leading to a loss of privacy, reduced sunlight, and create a jarring mismatch in height and massing. We also need to consider the cumulative impact of reduced green space, increased stormwater runoff, and tree loss. The official plan and city's zoning bylaws are clear. Change must be sensitive, gradual, and respectful of the existing physical character of the neighborhood. This proposal is none of those things. I urge the committee to consider the broader consequences of this decision. My objection is not about denying progress. It's about ensuring that this change happens in a way that maintains the current streetscape, scale, and community character of Thomas Avenue. For these reasons, I ask that you reject the severance application in its current proposed form. Let's preserve the integrity, character, and cohesion of our neighborhood. Thank you for your attention and thoughtful consideration.
Thank you. Any questions for the speaker, Mr. Stinson?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm so glad you're here because one of the questions I wanted to ask was about 21, and this is where you're from.
21, yes.
Yes. What's the space between you roughly and the next door neighbor at 23?
In where? At the,
Between your house and their house?
I don't know the exact number,
Just
but
approximately.
I'm really bad at approximate estimates.
Okay, we just move on
He would
that.
give you a better answer.
It's okay. Let's move on. If I understand your concern about the height too, we're talking a difference from 36 feet, which is being proposed essentially,
10.99 meters, yes?
yeah, to 32, that preferably and by everything that needs to be done, 32.
Almost a whole meter.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to be clear, we're talking a difference from 36 to 32 feet. I'm going to put it into feet.
10.99 meters versus 10 meters.
Yeah.
That's the information that I saw online.
No, it is.
That's
but I-
almost a meter, if I.
Yeah, it is in meters, but some of us still operate in the imperial because we're old enough.
Okay.
Okay. So my point of the story is I'm just trying to make sure I and grasp the numbers here. When I look at, and when I drove down there between 21 and 23 and 21 and 19, there is not a lot of space between those homes. There is a walking space.
There's
There is
tons of space.
Well, I just asked you to tell me what you thought it was.
I don't know what,
Okay.
but there is ample space between the homes. You can get a ladder in between. There's lots of room we have a very wide gate, and so does my neighbor on both sides.
So when you look at this whole
Has to
street,
be at least, I don't know, 10 feet.
okay, so I would agree with you. There is walking space through there at 10, okay, maybe 15 now, fine. What I'm saying is when you look at the different homes down there, you have some spaces that are significantly wide, some that are walking space, and we have an application before us that's asking for a variance. And the reason I make this distinction to everybody here present is that clearly there's an application here that's causing some contention, but it's also an application that's not outside the bounds of making the application to ask for this adjustment. And when I hear some of the speakers talk about light may be blocked, there is nothing like it in the neighborhood. I would just want to make the distinction that there is some variances in this neighborhood.
But they're all two-story homes on 50-foot lots. And they all follow the secondary plan.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
Any other questions for the speaker? Seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are you speaking? Okay.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kripa and I'm from 17 Thomas Avenue. I don't have any papers. So first of all, respected members, exhibitors, and all my neighbors, I'm here to respectfully oppose the building. I come from 17 Thomas Avenue, which is also fairly newly built. It was a big house which cut down into two. The reason we are opposing, I think, is because the way our street has different houses, different lots. I completely agree to that, different sizes of houses, but there is none that is 3-story buildings. There's none that is too huge for the area. The reason we love the street is because it's a dead-end street. The families live in there. I came in when my kids were really young. We love the street. We love the neighborhood over here. When the first time in June, the variances came in, we figured out they all say minor variances. I'm not good at numbers. I didn't put down the numbers, but when you put all the minor variances together, it becomes one of the major variances, which we all feel like that it's a major variance. And that's the reason we all are opposing. And the distance between the two houses may be less, may be big, I think, but just the way the house that will look out onto the street will not fit into the street the way it is. It's a heritage area. It's a beautiful place, and we would all request to keep it that way. That's it.
Okay, any questions of the speaker? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, are there any more speakers? No? Okay, Mr. Benskowski.
Thank you. If we could we just bring up the site plan from the set of plans, please? I just want to clarify a couple of things. There was a couple of mentions, just a couple of small clarifications. It's not a reverse slope drive. It is a positive slope drive. If it was a reverse slope drive, there would be a variance for that. There's also no request for a reduction of lot coverage. To put this into perspective to where we are, the proposed lot coverage for part 1 is 22.68%. The proposed lot coverage for part 2 is 23.58%. Now, where that relates, bear with me for 1 second, because seem to have misplaced one of my papers. Where that relates to in the sizes of the houses, again, part one having a coverage of 22.68% is able to accommodate a 6,000 square foot house or 599 square meter house without one variance for a built form. That's not a setback, it's not a building length, that's not a building depth. Could we just zoom in on the left side of the screen, just showing the adjacent house on the cul-de-sac? There was some talk of shadow and overlook. The actual dwelling to the immediate west extends much further than the proposed dwelling that is before you today. So it's actually the opposite in terms of overlook and shadowing being located to the west and further back. That actual shadow will be cast on this dwelling rather than the opposite, with that house being deeper than what is being proposed before you today. I believe she lives at 21 Thomas Avenue. She spoke of one of the official plan policies of respecting that neighborhood character. It actually doesn't state that in the text of 415. The text of 415 says it must generally fit. It does not say duplicate. It does not say look the same. If that was the intent of policy 4.1.5 in the neighborhood sections, it would say must match. It does not. It says new dwellings must generally fit the character of a neighborhood. If we could stay within the plans and stay on part one and go to one of the side elevations, because through you, Madam Chair, Mr. Khan did ask a question about the height. I do just want to show a graphic of what the dwelling actually looks like and where that height is proportioned. So if we could go to the side elevation of part one, I think it's about 4 pages down. The 10.99 meter height is not for a conventional modern flat roof dwelling. This has a side pitch. We go down, there you go. That's the side elevation. So in terms of the impact of what adjacent neighbors would see, that 10.99 isn't even for 50% of the roof itself. It is actually less than 50% of the height of the roof. I also, I want to go back to my discussion I had with Mrs. McCauley for a second about the secondary plan, because that was also brought up by number 21. If the intent of the secondary plan is you have to have 830 square meters, this would be under an OP amendment. This has gone through planning on 2 occasions, not once has an OP amendment been requested. Further to that, Ms. McCauley, you spoke about the numbers being a hard number. Then that would apply exactly to the zoning bylaw. It would be the same thought process that would go with the zoning bylaw, where we wouldn't have a committee of adjustment to request variances. The test of the official plan is to respect and reinforce the general physical character of the neighborhood. We go back to my lot study, that is what this is doing. The existing lot does not respect the general physical character of the neighborhood. The existing lot and the adjacent lot are the only 2 large lots within this neighborhood that would have the ability to do this. And that speaks to the appropriateness of it, that it does fit with the character of the neighborhood. The existing lot is too large. What we could propose on the property would be larger than anything else on this street exponentially. To go back to the height discussion, again, where the height is being appropriated, in my opinion, reduces that impact from the streetscape because it's actually going away from you. So if you stand, again, when we look at the front elevation, we don't see that perspective look of where it's sitting. So from the actual streetscape itself, on the left side, you will see that reduced side wall height with only the peak being in the center. That's not evident from the front. I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee might have.
Okay, panel members, do you have any questions? No? I have one. In comparison to, let's say, the house next door, the height, how would it compare? Do you know?
No, so more and more surveyors are now putting top of roof elevations for adjacent dwellings. It wasn't on this survey. But what I can tell you again, although that request is for a 3-story dwelling, as I showed in my diagram, if that basement is excavated, it's a 2-story dwelling. It doesn't change the look. It doesn't change the 10.99 meter height. There is no request that's leading to the 3-story requirement that has anything to do with main wall height or overall height. It is simply what is below grade.
No, I understand. That's exactly why I was asking.
Yeah,
how, if you had any.
I don't have it, but it is a pitched roof dwelling, probably fairly similar. Again, I don't want to give you the exact height because I don't have it.
Okay, then if you have a question, Mr. Khan, go ahead.
Sir, through the chair,
Eric? Ma'am, you said you didn't want to speak. You want to speak now? I know, but we can't, we would have brought her around by the elevator. Okay, the staff will come up and speak to you again. You told him you didn't want to speak. No, you have to be on a microphone because it's on YouTube. Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Bankowski, for the interruption. All right, we heard you. So you basically are in agreement with what everybody who spoke? Okay, okay, thank you. Yeah. All right, Mr. Stinson has a question for you.
Sir, is there anything you can do about this height? I mean, anything, because for me, as a committee member, that's the part that's gonna be the challenge for me. Everything else I'm not overly concerned about. I see the differences. I've heard the people speak, but I'd like to know if you can adjust the height.
If you just give me 1 minute, through you, Madam Chair, Mr. Stinson, just give me 1 minute. It largely is an architect. If we go to the front elevation, it is largely an architectural feature, that added height. So, I mean, what I would say is the main wall height would have to remain the same just because we don't have egregious floor heights. But off of that overall height, I don't see why we can't bring it down to, I would say probably about 10.5, take off a half a meter. We would be able to do. So I can make the change, the variance number 4, and bring that down to 10.5 meters.
Thank you. We'll just take a look at our own paperwork.
So 10.5 meters, you say, for
Correct.
just number 4?
Correct, Madam Chair.
And then 5 has to stay the same, you said,
Correct.
right? Will that change anything in variance 6 or no? It'll still.
It will
be
not.
6.
It will
not.
remain the same. Because again, that's all the entirely below grade.
So are you officially
Yes.
rescinding it then?
Yes.
So you're
Yes.
rescinding variance 4 to 0.5 meters
On part 1 to 10.5 meters
on
for
part.
variance number 4.
Okay, part 1. All right, any other questions, panel members? Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
thank you, madam. Sir, my question is through the chair, and very simple one. Did you had a meeting with your neighbors before about your plans?
Through Madam Chair, Mr. Khan, no, in a severance where largely the lot frontage and the lot area is essentially the concern, having a community meeting is really, I don't want to say unfruitful, but the kind of two statics of the lot area and the lot frontages, you know, the built form variances that are before you are essentially for the height and the main wall height. That's really the two that are before you, aside from the lot frontage and the lot area. So I can't make the existing property larger. We made the change to go to the 13 meters to satisfy the secondary plan, and I will. I want to go back to my conversation with Ms. McCauley yet again. I don't think I will, but by one of the neighbors did make a great point, and I did write it down, and it spoke to, we can only go by what we see from the street. And I think that's so important when it comes to lot area. We don't see the depth of these properties. We don't see that. What we see is the frontage. We don't know what the bird sees. And that takes us back to the coverage of being, 22.5 and 23% coverage for both dwellings. We don't know what we see from this streetscape. We don't know what that lot depth is. We don't know what that lot area is. But what I can tell you is the lot area in this instance, and I'm going way off on a tangent, Madam Chair, that maybe you're going to stop me at some point, but that lot area provides for such amenity space in the rear yard that I don't think the extra, 45, 50 square meters to get to the secondary plan really makes a difference, because again.
Well, thank you for your,
Yes.
thank you for the comments. But had you had a meeting, it is my understanding that you probably have a little bit of better, easy presentation, and so many people wouldn't have come out. But nonetheless, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, are there any further questions, panel members? Okay, just folks, I see your hands up, but the procedure is such that once you've spoken and the agent rebuts, you don't have another chance to speak. I'm sorry. All right, we're in committee, panel members. Ms. McCauley and then Mr. Khan. Oh, Ms. McCauley, okay.
Okay, the panel members, I'm going to comment. And I'm wearing both the committee hat and a professional planner's hat. This is Highland Creek secondary plan with a very clear policy that says the minimum lot area I've got to read it again. Minimum lot area of 830 square meters. That's the official plan policy. It doesn't say about or close to or vary it to 830 square meters. I assume at the time that this official plan policy was put in to be 80s, 90s, there was particular areas of Scarborough where they wanted to preserve the existing character with the existing lot, not with the existing lot area, but with a large lot area. This is one. There's another one that we had probably a year or 2 years ago, also in Highland Creek, where they've identified, again, a lot area and they have the same policy of a minimum lot area. They don't talk about frontage. They don't talk about size of building. They talk about character, and the character is defined by a very precise lot area. That's your official plan policy. Now, consents have to comply with the official plan policy. That's one of the checkoff points. The second checkoff point is variants also have to comply with official plan policy. So his variance for lot area does not comply with the official plan. I don't see how we can approve this application. I understand where he's coming from. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that you're appealing this. I'm a little bit surprised that the city, and the city has a lot of things they're looking at. They're not re-examining some of the policies in particular areas in the city. I know there's a particular policy here. It's not being re-examined. There's particular areas in North York that are not being re-examined, particular areas in the annex, which are also not being re-examined because they have literally too much else to do. And so in order to really change this, the city, and it can be done by either the councillor or the community council or the community itself, can request a review of this part of the city and its particular policies. But until that happens, we're stuck with this policy. You're stuck with it, I'm stuck with it. And it's clear, it doesn't say approximate, it says minimum. So my position is The consents do not comply with the official plan. Similarly, the variances do not comply with the official plan. And in my opinion, this application has to be refused.
Okay, anyone else? Have any comments? Okay, you want to make a motion then?
I'll make a motion that this application for consent and for variance for 20 Thomas Avenue be refused on the basis that it does not comply with the official plan policy as stated in the Highland Creek official plan.
Okay, Mr. Khan.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion to refuse the application moved by Ms. McCauley, seconded by Mr. Khan. All in favor? Okay, that carries unanimously. Thanks. All right, the next item is item number 21. 151 Pitt Avenue. We have before us a public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, draft plan of survey, cover letter from Rockham Design Inc., presentation materials from the agent, as well as photos of trees and the site. We have reports from community planning. They are asking for conditions. Engineering has conditions as well as advisory comments. Forestry is asking for condition number 3 on all the parcels. And we have support for form letters from residents on Pitt Avenue, and that includes the adjacent properties at 149 and 153. We also have opposition from 151. I'm not sure if that's a tenant, as well as some form letters in opposition. All right. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak to 151 Pitt Avenue? Sir, are you a resident or are you the agent, or are you speaking in opposition?
I'm representing them.
Okay, just grab a seat down in the front here for now. Okay, do we have just the agent online? Okay, can I have Mr. Kim, please? Come down one more, I think. Yeah.
The agent?
Is there nowhere to sit there? Behind the... Yeah. Sorry, yep, go ahead, sir. Mr. Kim?
Yeah, the agent.
Yep, I mean, your address, please, your name and address for the record.
The address is Unit 1402 386 Young Street.
Sir, can you do a very brief presentation? I have somebody here speaking in opposition to the application.
Sure, yeah. Actually, the original plan was 47.5%. We are changing, reduce the size of the house to 39.6%. And then height has been to reduce to 8.4 to 8 meter. And then the front yard landscape has been bigger. And then the side yard setback has been from 0.45 to 0.6. Actually, side yard setback is required 0.9 meter. The north and south is 1.2 meter. We made it bigger for the neighbors, and then between the house is 0.6 meters, so it's not really affect to the surrounding neighbors. And then we got the support letter from the both adjacent neighbor, and then the front neighbors, which is 152 and 154 Pitt Avenue from the owners, actually. Yeah. And then I saw that the objection letter, that all the sign from the objection letter was 2023, not the 2025, the updated one. And then the who made the objection letter was a previous tenant, actually. There was issue with the my client, the owner, and then there was a problem with the tenant, and then they had to go to the tenant board, and then he got the eviction letter order for this year actually, and then he moved out April 2025. He's not anymore for the neighbor right now. So, and then on the eviction, the objection letter, there was a 154 Pitt Avenue, but we already got the 153, 154, the owner support letter. And then can you pull up the presentation, the map?
A map, you have a, you sent in
There's
a
a
map?
zoning map actually. Yeah, that's a simple zoning map. Actually, the red line is which is approved by the same the frontage what we apply right now. It's all the same. It's been approved and they has been built 2 houses, and then all the yellow one is a semi-detached houses. The green is a commercial. It's the frontage is really small. All the neighbors actually this area. And then the next page shows the 149, the neighbor's house. We're gonna have, can you pull up the next pages? $149, our neighbor house. Yeah, that's a perfect example. Actually, we are smaller, we are narrower than that house. We are same actually height with that one. Yeah. Any question? Let me know, please. Thanks.
I think we'll hold our questions till after we hear from the speaker, okay? So I'm going to have the gentleman speak now, and then I'll come back to you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak about this. So my name is Lyle Sanders, and I'm representing a number of the other neighbors who don't feel that this is an appropriate change in the property. The owners of the house tried to do this a couple of years ago, and one of your members, I believe it was Ms. McCauley, who looked at this and said, "I cannot with good conscience say yes." Very wisely and with a lot of deep thought. I could tell when she made that statement at that time that she really thought about it very carefully before she made the statement. So even still with the changes, the variances mean that only a much smaller area of the lot at the front and will be than what's supposed to be the case. So the chapter 1, in the minimum required area is 371 square meters, and the area will be 246.2, which is 33% less than the minimum required. In chapter 2, the variance, the minimum required lot frontage is 12 meters, and this will be 7.62, which means that only 63.5% of the required frontage will be there. One thing, I know that the architect mentioned eviction. I have the order from here. We were evicted from the house. The form was made because supposedly the landlord's daughter was going to move into the house. And I've checked on a regular basis. Nobody's been in that house. So this was a renoviction made in bad faith. This was one of the difficulties with this. The landlord is regularly doing things that would not be considered appropriate, and in this case, not even considered legal. I ran to be mayor of Toronto in 2023, And I thoroughly understand that the city is looking for more housing for people. And this would present more housing because you have two houses on this tiny houses on this space. But the city is not looking for more housing. They're looking for more affordable housing. This, in calculation and looking in all the documents in many, many different places on the internet, this is not a more affordable house for anybody. And yes, I know that the neighbors next door at 149 did a similar change in the property, and they've signed yes, and that's because the owners of this house signed for them. The interesting thing was we were living there at the time when they were trying to sell that second unit, and it took them months and months and months, I think 3 different real estate agents, to sell that second part because people didn't find it desirable. And in the end, they actually, my understanding is from what they've told me, they actually lost money on that second house. So it was an expensive place for other people to live. As far as area there, one thing that happened was the people in that second house found that they didn't have room to park their cars. And they were initially asked if they could park the car in the driveway of the house that we were in. And they had made arrangements that they were going to pay some amount. They did not ever do that, but continued to park the car there. There's not room on this street to park multiple vehicles. And the house, I believe, is set up, if this house will be set up in the same way, we set up for more than one family. There's already not enough room for people to park with only one family in the household. And this house, 151 Pitt, has got a large driveway, which will be gone as a result of this. So we oppose this and hope that the Committee of Adjustment will also see our point in this.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Panel members, do you have any questions? Ms. McCauley?
I remember you. Sorry, I remember you.
Yes.
2 years
Sorry,
ago.
I can't hear very well. There's not very much sound coming here. So
Okay,
my apologies.
I'll speak louder. I remember you 2 years ago. This application we looked at. There is nothing in the area that had the same small lot sizes. And we had some concerns with the application. We refused the application and we refused the variance. For the committee's information, they will note that this application was appealed to TLAB. TLAB similarly refused the application and the variances. So they can't bring back the same application within 2 years. So 2 years later, we're here. Unfortunately, 2 years later, I'm still here. What I want to know from you, sir, is what has changed? You're saying the applicant is saying that the house next door has been torn down and 2 new houses have been built. Is that correct?
Okay, thank you for that question. So that house was in the process of being built at the time when we moved in, and we moved in with the intention, because we moved basically 2 families. It's a fairly big house. Living there for a long period of time. Within 6 weeks, they applied to have this house torn down and didn't even tell us. I'm not as well prepared with documentation as I would have liked to have been, because I only found out hours before this had to be put in to the request had to be put in to oppose. I only knew hours before. The sign that they put up was sort of way back, so people didn't notice. And one of the neighbors who I spoke with, whose house is right behind this one, said he was not given any notice about this at all. The signs that are there are half covered by bushes. So I think that, as I said, one of the problems here is that they're trying to do things inappropriately and trying to trick people. That's the notice that we got to move out of the house because the daughter was going to move in was within 7 days of the time that the appeal board said no.
I understand that there is bad vibes, shall we call it, between yourself and the landlord. And I'm not really terribly interested in that. What I'm interested in is the decision we have to make today is, should we divide this lot into 2 lots? And does that fit? Is it similar to other lots on that street? And I think the applicant has said that the house next to this one already has been divided and there's 2 houses on it. So that's, you live in the area or have familiar with the area. That's my question to you. I have not been out on this street recently. So I'm asking you, next door to 151 Pitt Avenue, are there, I guess it'd be 149 or maybe 153.
140.
Are there 2 houses there where originally there was only 1? Right now, is there 2 houses there?
Yes, there are, and they were there at the time when the previous application was made. Just one thing to mention, I'm not sure if this makes any difference, but they tore down all the trees without any permission to do that. There were a whole set of trees at the back. That's another thing. The neighbors back there were very upset that the whole grove of trees were taken down. I would believe that they're probably going to do the same thing with the grove of trees that are behind 151 Pitt as well.
Okay, so the ones we're talking about are the 2 new houses, or look to be 2 new houses on that drawing. They're there. They're new houses on smaller lots.
Yes.
Okay.
And
all right, no more questions.
Something that was also
Can I
mentioned.
just ask you a question? I need your address for the record. Is it 151?
No.
No, what's your address?
The address, our address is 1347 Victoria Park Avenue.
1347
Yes.
Park. Is there an apartment number or anything?
No, it's a house.
Big park. Okay. Thank you.
Just even looking at the picture, their walkway between the house is too small for them to walk on, and they're actually using part of the property from 151 Pitt to be able to get to the backyard. If this house, these new 2 houses are put there, I can't imagine them getting a lawnmower back there. It would be impossible. There would be no room.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the, I don't think there's any more questions here, so I'm going to go back to the agent. Okay, thank you, Mr. Sanders.
Thank you once again. I do appreciate the time.
Mr. Kim,
Hello, yep.
can you
Yep.
please only speak to the issues that were raised by the speaker?
Honestly, I wonder if he was talking to her now, not 2023, because some of the neighbor has been moved out and the new owner, we've been talking, and then we already got the support letter, and then we are smaller than the 149, the house width, so we have no issues, and then we have 1.2 meter on the north and south side setback, bigger than what it requires. And he was mentioning about for 149 tree permit at the backyard. I don't think they just cut it without the permit. They have to, after committee, they have to get the the tree permit, and then they have to proceed with the building permit.
Well, I think more importantly, you are aware that forestry is asking for condition number 3 on all of your parcels and the consent, right?
Yes.
Okay,
and-
so, we're dealing with your site. We don't really know what happened in the other one, but you are aware of the forestry conditions, correct?
Sure, yeah. Yes.
Okay, as well as the engineering conditions and planning?
Yes, I already reviewed
Yeah,
everything.
so, okay, is there anything else that you feel you need to address that was talked about by the speaker?
Actually, he lives in like 10 blocks north. It's far away.
Okay.
he's not living there anymore. And then I don't know the neighbors.
Yeah, he did say he was speaking on behalf of several neighbors also, so, but noted. All right, Mr. Stinson has a question for you, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Sir, Ms. McCauley mentioned that this matter's been through this committee and then TLAB. Is this the same plans from years ago that was rejected by the committee and then the appeal turned down by TLAB?
It's been reduced. The size has been reduced a lot.
Can you
The
define
height
why?
has, yeah, well, each floor has been 20 square meter has been reduced, and the width has been reduced too. It's because of the side yard setback bigger for the north and south side, and then height has been reduced. So it's a smaller house actually.
Thank you very much. I want to also point out on this street, 142, 146 is a double split, and 149A, 149B, which was talked at length with the last speaker here before us and Ms. McCauley. So this isn't the first time there's been a split. One second. Is there any other further reductions or something you could do that would make this application more palatable?
I'm sorry, this is the minimum what we can have actually.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions, panel members? All right, well, let's take it into committee for a decision. Mr. Stinson.
Thank you, Chair. Really sitting on the fence. I note that these are big lots. I note that there are other homes that are divided into twos on similar lot sizes. I note that this has been before the committee, then to TLAB on appeal, and the agent owner just explained to us that he has made certain reductions again to try to make this work. So I struggle with denying the application simply because when I say those points, I also note that the city departments have not prohibited this build from happening or asked us for a refusal. So I'm more tipped towards the idea of approving it, but I want to hear from my colleagues.
Ms. McCauley?
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at this. I remember the application. I remember that, 2 years ago, there was a lot of activity in this area, and there still is. And when we're looking at consents and variances, what we look at is, what is the change? Is the change that we've got in front of us in line with the changes that are happening in the community? And that's why I really look at what other lots are there on that street of the same dimensions. And the applicant has provided area plans. I can't find them on my agenda here, but they were put up there showing what other lots have been divided. So yes, this is an area where change is happening. Yes, this is an area that we've had a lot of problems with this change, but we can't be stable. We have to look forward to moving forward. So with this application, I'm a little bit more on the fence because it was refused 2 years ago. The area was stable at that time, but change has happened, and that's why I was asking. So I'm not going to say anything more at the moment. Tell you that I'm on the fence too. I see the variances that have been required and have been changed. So that's a move in the right direction. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm leaning towards approving this application. In reviewing community planning's report, I see significant efforts have been made to address earlier concerns. In particular, if you look at the lot coverage, it was significantly reduced. It went from previously 47.5% to now about 39.5%, so about an 8% reduction. That's pretty significant. Height has been reduced as well. It went from 8.44 to now 8 meter, which is only 50 centimeters more than what's been permitted in the zoning bylaw. Again, front yard landscaping went up as well from 59 to about 69. So 10% increase in front yard soft landscaping. So these are pretty, in my opinion, pretty significant efforts that were made to address previous concerns raised by community planning. We've also looked at the comparison chart that the applicant's agent put up. There are similar severances and new builds in the neighborhood, not only in the neighborhood, but on the same street. In fact, 2 of them. We heard one of the speaker mention other issues involving this property, tenancy disputes, illegal tree removals. I'm sympathetic to those issues, but again, I wasn't here at the time in 2023, but I do note that the mandate of community adjustment is to look at the variances that are before us. And it wouldn't be appropriate for this committee to look at things that's before the landlord tenant board or such other authorities. So in light of the foregoing, I am of the opinion that the current proposal meets the 4 test of the Planning Act. It addresses all community planning concerns. And I would move approval of this application subject to my colleagues' thoughts and of course, subject to an engineering review, urban forestry conditions.
Okay, so that was a motion then to approve the application, moved by Mr. Howe, including planning, engineering, and forestry condition number 3, I believe, on all consents and severances. And Mr. Stinson.
Thank you, Chair. I'll second the motion.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Stinson. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Okay. Next item is item number 22, 3325 Ellesmere Road. We have before us minutes from the April 9th public hearing, previous agenda package from that hearing, public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans for this hearing, previous decisions affecting the property, cover letter from the agent, presentation materials from the agent, as well as tree and site photos. We have a report from forestry. They're asking for condition number 2 and 3. And we have advisory information from transportation. I don't show anyone other than the agent speaking, and you're here.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, committee members and committee staff. My name is Hamid Behesht from Homeland. I am the co-designer of this house from 49 Wycliffe Crescent in Toronto.
Okay, sir, I don't think we need a presentation on this. Does anyone have any questions for the agent? Sir, I'm not showing any questions. It means we're ready to make a decision. Is there anything you want to add that's not in the materials before us?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank you for accepting us for the second time. This project was deferred because of a problem of the garden suite, if you remember, a while ago. Now the garden suite problem is solved, and it is 100% done according to the approved permit drawings. Thank you.
Yep, that was in our material, your cover letter, that you've got the building permit, et cetera, under control. So you are aware of the forestry conditions?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we'll take it into committee for a decision. Oh, you have a question? Oh, you want to move a motion? It's ahead of me. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move that we have 3 variances in front of us, and it was deferred on April 9, 2025. And I'll make the move that it should be approved with forestry conditions. Thank you.
And that's seconded by Ms. McCauley. So motion to approve, including forestry conditions. And that's moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Ms. McCauley. All in favor? That carries. Your application is approved, sir.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, committee members.
Okay. Item 23 we dealt with. And so we're going to item number 24. 23 was deferred. Okay, item 24 is 80 Glen Watford Avenue. We have before us minutes from the August 13th meeting, as well as the agenda package for today's meeting, public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey, arborist report prepared by Jonathan O'Neill. We have a planning report with conditions, and transportation has advisory comments, and we have forestry asking for condition number 1 and 2. Okay, is there anybody in the audience to speak to 80 Watford Drive? Are you the agent? You're a neighbor? Okay, do you want to just come down and grab a seat somewhere? Are you in opposition then to the application? Okay, thanks. Just the agent online, right? Do we have the agent whilst they're making their way down, maybe? Mr. Jerusik, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. I just need your name and address for the record.
Peter Druzik from Arc Design Group, 60 Thistledown Crescent, Whitby, Ontario. I'm the agent for the owner of 80 Glen Watford.
Okay, sir. I do have somebody speaking in opposition. Can you do a brief presentation? Ma'am, you can grab a seat for now. Have a seat for now. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Jerusik.
Sure. Yes, we were before the committee earlier on this year regarding this application. This application is for a corner lot at 80 Glen Watford, which is the corner of Glen Watford and Havendale Road. Before you today, we have 5 variances. One regarding driveway width, the second being a height variance, and the third we have the length and depth being 3 and 4 of the variances regarding that with a rear yard setback. And when you look at the site plan on this, very simply, we have a corner lot, and as per the city bylaws, when you have a corner lot, they would like to have the driveways from the flanking yard. And we do have a garage designed on that flanking yard, essentially a separate building. However, what my client wanted to do is have a little bit of a transition space between the garage and the house, and it's covered with a roof. That in essence ties these two buildings together and creates one building, which is why we have a building depth of up to 30 meters. We were before the committee, like I mentioned earlier this year. We had to defer when we went through the process. We got almost to the end when we noticed there was an issue with the building length and depth, where the notice repeated the word length twice. It said depth and then length and then depth. So we had to fix that up, and because of that technicality, we're back before you today. But the plans have not changed as per further to that meeting. We had a fairly good meeting going through all that discussion purposes there. The only technicality why we had to defer it was because I believe it was the depth said that the building depth will have a new length, and that was because the wording was missed off that or incorrect. We had to defer it. We have since corrected it, and we are before you here today. The project is as was before, and I believe it does meet the 4 tests. It is only because the accessory garage is connected by a roof to the main dwelling that we have these variances for length and depth and rear yard setback. Because if the garage was separate, the dwelling would be in compliance with building depth, and the lengths would have been much better at around 23 meters for building length. I believe this does meet the 4 tests, and I know there's someone would like to speak to this as well. However, if the committee has any questions, I'm more than willing to answer it for you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Jerusik. We're going to hold our questions till after we hear from the speaker, and then we'll have you back. Okay, ma'am, come on. So if I could have your name and address before you start.
Rosanna Chow. Address is 82 Glen WATFORD Drive.
82 Glen Watford. So you're right next door.
Yes.
Okay. You have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, I sent in the objects of notice, but I'm going to read part of it or most of it. I'm writing to formally express my strong objection to the proposed new construction at 80 Glen Watford Drive, which is immediately next door to my home at 82 Glen Watford Drive. We are their only immediate neighbors. The proposed new dwelling far exceeds the variances granted by the City of Toronto on many fronts, on many points, which we believe are set in place for various protective purposes. We have lived in our house for over 30 years. So I'm not going to go through the variances, the 5 variances as requested. I do not agree with the proposed exceptions. The size and design of the building plus adjacent garage directly impact my property access to natural light and privacy. Currently, our adjacent backyards are closely intertwined with shea mature trees. These properties were designed to have a house facing the street of Glen Watford Drive and then a backyard that follows. By rotating the house and exceeding the city allowed link towards the east, towards Midland Drive, several mature trees which previously contributed to shade, water absorption, and overall environmental stability in the area will have to be removed. Our backyard will lose sunlight and increase height exception. The privacy of our backyard will be greatly compromised, as the size of the duplex will span across and overlook most of my backyard. The new dwelling will greatly disrupt and change the character of our immediate neighborhood, as they are designed for single-family dwellings. So please accept this letter as a formal record of my objection to the proposed development at 80 Glen Watford Drive. I'm not in support of the deviation from the approved plans. Furthermore, I have some questions to ask. I don't know if it's the right time to ask.
Well, it depends. Is this a technical question of staff or what is your question regarding?
The question actually, is several questions from, I like to have answer to. So first of all, I look at the the website about the forest report. It says something like only 6 trees are going to be cut, but we know there's lots of trees on the lot, especially the side facing Havendale. There are lots and lots of trees. So I don't quite understand why there are only 6 to be cut. I don't know.
Because some of the trees might be smaller, like there's a minimum diameter on trees that if it's less than, is it 8 centimeters? I think it's 8 centimeters. If the diameter of the tree, the trunk, is less than 8.
Through the chair, just to clarify, I think that's 8 inches, like it's 30,
Sure.
actually
It was centimeters, but I can't remember.
30 centimeters, I'm sorry.
30 centimeters.
8 inches, 30 centimeters, I think, yeah.
Okay, I'm not 100% what we think it's 8 inches diameter. So if the tree trunk is less than that, you can cut it down. If it's more than that, then there has to be permits. But you do know that there's also our forestry department reviews all this. So there are conditions that they have put in place that the applicant has to meet with respect to the trees.
Okay, so that's the reason why it has to be certain size.
Okay, the diameter is 12 inches. My colleague just checked it.
That's the reason why they only show 6 to be cut down.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Okay, so there's Another couple other question is, we don't know why there is some kind of storage at the top. So one
Storage?
of the building, talk about the storage.
Okay, we'll ask the agent when he comes back, he'll explain that. And do you have another question?
So here, I like to know, so do they have to abide the new building if you allowed it to build? Do they have to abide about this like 2-family dwelling condition? Because there is some concern from a friend's son who says that it may be, he suspects that they may be using it for the future as multiple rental units or things like that.
Perhaps you are allowed a basement unit as of right if you want in a house, but now you're allowed to have fourplexes in neighborhoods. So technically in a neighborhood now, under the new regulations, you can have 4 units in one house.
4 units in one house.
Yes, that is permitted, but I don't believe this is showing as 4 units. I believe it's showing as a single family home, but the agent again can speak to that when he comes back.
It's a single family home?
It's a duplex.
It's a duplex, but it's 2 family.
So 2 units.
2 units.
Yeah.
But it's considered single family home.
Well, in neighborhoods now, under all the new permissions, because they're trying to build more housing, you can have multiple units, like up to 4. And even in certain areas of the city, you can have 6 in one unit in a residential neighborhood.
So the other concern is, when the house is positioned, differently, so the footage of that lot is really not that long to allow for front and backyard. So then basically the back of the structure is going to be very close to our house.
Yeah, the agent can speak to the proximity and all that. He's going to come back. And is there anything else you want to ask about the building itself? Because the agent can answer those questions.
Okay, the one question is, so, city, they have to abide by by whatever they apply for. They cannot change the structure of the building.
No, they have to, if they get approvals, they have to build what they get approvals for.
Okay, so I guess that's all the questions I have for now. Do you have any questions on it? This is my husband.
I've already allowed you guys a lot of, is there one question you have? Because it's usually 5 minutes per address and we're kind of way beyond that. But if there's a specific question you have about the actual structure and what they're applying for, because the agent is listening and he'll come back and answer the questions when we're done. Like now that you folks are finished speaking, because you can't speak again. You're good? Okay.
So,
yeah,
we could go back.
You can sit wherever you like.
Okay.
If you want to stay here, that's fine too. Okay, Mr. Jerusik. I guess you've heard some of the conversation. Maybe can you speak to the question about something about a loft? And
regarding the loft, I think it's just a misunderstanding. The elevations themselves show fake dormers on the roof as an architectural feature, and that might have been misleading in her mind that there might be storage in the attic, but there's no storage in the attic. It's just dormers as an architectural feature put on the elevations. These are only this is a 2-story house. There is no storage up in the attic. It's just a 2-story house, and we're gonna have standard trusses here. I understand the concern where all the houses currently are facing Glen Watford, and being a corner lot, we are in a unique position here. And Havendale Road is going to be, in essence, like the new frontage with the new entranceway, and that's because of twofold. Number one, there's a large tree on Glen Watford, and the current driveway is right tight to the intersection. This redesign will allow better traffic patterns at the intersection, because our driveway will no longer be exiting right at the stop sign. It will now be relocated to the new garage there. I'd like to just add, these are very big lots. These are almost 200-foot deep lots. They're 196 by 60. Even our garage is 14 meters away from the rear yard, but the remaining house itself is over 24 meters from the back property line here. The existing house to 82, which is to the north of us, it's only 6 meters shorter than our depth of our house, not including our garage. So we're not that far off in terms of depth. And because of these large backyards, I don't believe we're going to be affecting substantially any garden in the backyard, as you can see, because we pushed most of the garage towards Havendale, and the existing house, the house will not cause too much issues for lighting in the natural light. I know that was a concern they brought up as well. But if there's any other concerns that the committee has, I'm willing to answer them as well.
I think I know I was trying to answer, but about the trees. So is that why it looks like more trees are being cut down just because of the size?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have the arborist report, but along the street line, there's a row of probably 7 or 8. They're Manitoba maples. And if you know anything about Manitoba maples, they are more of a weed type of tree.
Yep.
And they are smaller in scope. So we are providing tree protection around them. We're not knocking them all down. We are going to apply for them. Actually, if you look at the tree protection zones, we are maintaining a tree protection zone around that area there until such time as we need to apply, if we are going to remove any of them. But there is as he's scrolling through, he's going to be coming up to some photographs. And I think it's the next one. Yeah, there's the list of those are the trees up against Havendale. As you can see, they're very sprawling type of little trees there, and they're signified as Manitoba maples there. Right, so they're actually, as you see, they're not the beautiful trees there as you can see. Of course, during the summertime, as they do blossom, you do have a good coverage there. But on the tree protection zone, we're currently offering to protect them. They are on the city property, so we are not seeking to knock them down. They are on city property, and we're not touching them unless the city says we can get rid of them, but we're not making any applying for this right now. They're city-owned trees.
Okay, thank you. Panel members, do you have any questions for Mr. Jarusik? Okay, let's go into committee and make a decision on this then. Mr. Stinson?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to add some comments that we heard from both sides. I could approve this application because in principle, this is nothing new for the street. Just look at 68 Watford, Glen Watford. And when you look at the actual size of this building, I'm told that size does matter sometimes. And in looking at the lot, it seems to fit it appropriately to the point of the last thing that the agent spoke about. Those trees in question along the side are not the majestic trees that are out front. And I think it's all within a balance that even urban forestry has said we can accommodate this application if the conditions are followed. So I would be willing to approve it.
All right. Anyone else comments? No? Okay, is that a motion then, Mr. Stinson?
It is. So subject to the conditions of community planning and urban forestry, I would move that we approve this application.
Okay.
I will second the motion.
All right, I have a motion to approve the application, including planning conditions in the October 28th report, forestry conditions 1 and 2, moved by Mr. Stinson, seconded by Mr. Khan. All in favor? That carries. The application's been approved. but thank you for coming down and expressing your concerns. Item number 26, 25 was deferred. It's 696 BRIMORTON Road. We have before us minutes from the September 10th hearing, previous package from that hearing, including all materials, public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, as well as tree and site photos, and a letter from the applicant. We have a report recommending refusal from community planning.
Madam Chair, the previous approval, did Mr. Stinson intend to have that application tied to the site plan and elevation plans in accordance
That's
with?
the planning report, which was included.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just,
Yep.
I needed clarification.
Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay, so the agent for item 26-696 BRIMORTON, is that you, sir? He's online. You're the owner? You're not speaking then, the agent? Well, are you, okay, so you either have 5 minutes between the two of you or one of you has 5 minutes, so decide what you would like to do. Agent will speak. Okay. All right, is the agents on the line? If you could just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. My name is Donya Abbas Siliasi, and I'm here to speak in support of minor variance application for 696 BRIMORTON Drive.
All right, ma'am. I guess if I could ask you to, there's nobody else here for you're not here for 696?
No, only me and
Okay,
the
you're
owner.
just listening?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Could I just have you, Ms. Abasiliasi, can I have you speak just to the refusal report, please? From planning?
For sure. Today I'm coming just to talk about the refusal report. This proposal is for a small garden suite intended to accommodate extended family member. It has been carefully designed to meet the city's technical requirement while maintaining the existing character and livability of the neighborhood. The requested variance related to the zoning bylaw, which prohibited an ancillary building in a front yard. However, due to the unique configuration of this corner lot, the area defined by the bylaw as the front yard actually functions as a side yard. The proposed garden suite is positioned in a way that has no visual or functional impact on the real front yard or the streetscape. The purpose of this garden suite is to support multi-generational living, providing space for the grandparents, a mother, and an older child to live together while maintaining privacy and independence. This is not a rental unit, but a way to keep family members together and support on one property. This fully aligns with the City of Toronto official plan and the goal of the expanding housing option in neighborhood, which encourage gentle density and family supportive housing. The planning department acknowledged in their report that this lot has a unique condition that limits the typical rear yard placement of a garden suite. While staff expressed concern regarding location and massing, we believe that the revised drawing have been fully addressed these issues, which is the height and setbacks were refined to reduce massing, soft landscaping and green space have been increased. The suite remained modest in scale and visually compatible with the neighboring properties. The city's own garden suite monitor report, which is in June 2025, recognized that corner and through lot often required alternative siting solution, including front or side yard location, and specifically state that such case can be support where appropriate buffering and setback are provided, which this proposal achieved. Furthermore, most neighboring property owners have expressed full support for this proposal. They understand it is for only family use and it's respect privacy and that it will not negatively impact the community. From a planning perspective, our proposal meet all 4 tests for minor variance. It maintained the intent of the official plan by supporting diverse family-oriented house. It may take the intent of the zoning bylaw as the suite is clearly subordinate to the main dwelling. It is desirable for the appropriate development of the property, offering a safe and functional living space for extended family, and it is minor in nature with no adverse impact on neighbors or overall streetscape. I also wish to emphasize that the owner patience and cooperation throughout this process. Although this is a small accessory building, the application has taken over 6 months and required fees and effort greater than some full single dwelling application. The owner has worked closely with the city staff, made all the requested revision, shown great respect for the city's process. We hope the committee will recognize this fairness, patience, and compliance. For this reason, respectfully request the committee's support and approval for this application. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There's a minute and a half left. Is there anything you want to say? I have you're the owner, right? Why is this echoing? No, I haven't touched it.
Good afternoon, committee chair, madam. My name is Vipul Thakkar and I live.
Just give me a second.
Yes, sure.
You guys stop the clock for a second. Thanks, David. Okay, sir. Okay, sir, go ahead.
Yeah.
You have
My name is
a minute.
Vipul Thakkar. I live at 696, the owner of that. And like I landed here in Canada in 2006, and this is my first house. I never changed my intersection in all these 20 years. So I was living in 1050 Markham Road, and I just changed to 696 BRIMORTON, which is just opposite of that. So what my agent said is all technical things. What I am telling you is my reality. I live with 4 generations. Like my 4 generations lives in the same house. Like my mother is there, and my granddaughter is also there. So we really are, we are like 8 people in the house. And when my first son got married, at that time I built the 2nd story on my house, and I was here with the committee of adjustment in 2017. So we built the 2nd story. Now my 2nd son, he's graduating this month, like he's completing his studies. So naturally we will be looking for a space for him, and we believe in joint family. So we are all living in under one roof. And that is the main intention of this house. There is nothing like that I want to rent out, or there is no other intention. All my neighbors, like at that time also, like when I built the 2nd story, I was the first person to build the 2nd story on the east of Markham Road on BRIMORTON. And now also I'm the first person to build the garden suite. So it might not be like, there might not be a lot of garden suites in our area, but I think I am the first person to build. So I request you to consider this as a positive, because I don't want to leave the area which I love the most.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you. Sir.
that's it. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Mr. Stinson has a question.
Yes, please, sir.
Thank you. Before I ask you, sir, I got to direct it towards the chair. There was something that the agent said for this owner that I dispute, and I want to ask, do I ask the owner or the agent?
I would ask the agent
Okay.
when she comes back.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask the agent.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Abasiliasi, are you there?
Just a sec.
Oh,
Can I ask-
hang on, sir. Can you come back? Ms. Macaulay has a question for you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a very simple question. Who is the intended occupant of this garden suite?
My son will be there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's-
I have 2 sons. One is married, one is not.
No, I'm just looking at it. It's essentially 3 stories. And so it's not for your mother or.
No. My mother lives on the main floor of the house right now, which we have. We have 1 bedroom there. My mother-in-law also lives with me. So they both share the bedroom. It's a self-contained bedroom, like the self. So the master
Okay,
bedroom.
I've got the answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Tanya, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Stinson wants to ask you a question.
For sure.
Thank you, Chair. Miss, I think you said there were, and I quote, many letters of support. The only one I can find is from somebody at 696 BRIMORTON Drive. So what are the many letters of support?
So basically, the support letter we provided to the neighbors to get the sign, but because previously, like in the last couple of weeks, it's their celebration for Diwali celebration, they couldn't sign back to us. So I asked owner, can you provide me before the deadline submission? And because they're busy with their families and celebration, they couldn't back to me. So, but I know that based on the owner's comments, many of the neighbors support this property owner because they're living more than 20 years in these neighbors and they know him like perfectly.
Okay, no problem. Just for future reference, I can't give that much weight when there's no signatures, addresses, or names. But I appreciate your frankness. Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Miss Agent.
Yes.
I noticed in your previous submission, September 2025, you had amended variances 4 and 6.
Yes, correct.
But in the current notice, those are no longer showing. In other words, you reverted back to your original application. Are you still seeking to go with the amended application, or are you going with?
No, the revised and updated zoning examiner notice, it's shown on the item number 5 and item number 7 that the height is reduced and the green landscape is increased.
But that's not what's showing on the current public notice. That's before us for this session.
I
right?
submitted the changes with the red line, and like I believe that when they send me the revised, everything like in a black font, and I have it in front of me now. It's issued on the date was.
Yeah, but the one before us.
Is that the date?
It's in the supporting materials.
It's August 20th was issued.
Well, okay, can we just go through this because I show in the supporting materials what Mr. Howe is referring to, I believe, is variance number 4. The proposed height of the garden suite is 5.45 meters. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and variance number 6 is 67% and 105.72 square meters.
Exactly. Yes.
So those are but you had it in your supporting materials. So just for future reference, you may want to send it in with an email to the staff and be clear about it because it just, well, this is how we have it. So we
Okay,
didn't
for sure.
really. So are you formally amending the application with those 2 changes then?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howe, for bringing this up.
I sent it to Eric Hill at that date. Are they going to change this? Hello? Excuse me, hello? Paul, it was cut?
The light went here, like it was power shut off.
Oh.
So now they want you to be on the speaker and they will
For sure.
put you to the mic.
Oh, sure, yeah, because I couldn't hear back from them. Okay.
Yeah, just one moment,
Sure.
okay? Yeah, this is the agent. Anya.
Yes, hello. It was cut off, I believe. Yes.
Testing. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm good. Hello?
Are you able?
Oh, this is starting share.
She's not able to listen. I'll give it to you and then I'll come back here. Yes, just one moment.
Okay.
Madam Chair is here.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. I'm just going back to my mic here.
for sure.
All right, panel members, do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay, we don't have any other questions.
Perfect.
So unless there's anything that hasn't been discussed that you need to add, we're gonna go into committee and make a decision.
No, I'm all good, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, panel members, we're in committee. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, thank you, Chair. I'll lead the way. First of all, I want to thank Member Howe for putting out that situation earlier. So now we know that we are capable of amending today's public notice or application.
Yeah, it's, we're looking at an amended application.
And the application. And that will be 4 and 6.
Variance 4 and 6.
Yeah, variance 4 and 6. So for the record, through the chair, can I just go through these items up here? Yeah.
Sure.
So it was, it should have been separate for the members, but it's in here supporting your Joe's comment. Next slide, we let you provide it as a revised variances and your submission time, so it's very clear. The two amendments are variance number 4, which is the maximum height of an ancillary building. The previous variance was for 6.47 meters. It's been reduced to 5.4 meters. 5.45 meters.
Yes.
And the second amendment is to variance number 6. It's the minimum required front yard, some landscaping. The original requested variance was for 61.06%, or 96.43 square meters. It has been increased to 7% for 105.72 square meters.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so we're in committee. And I can't remember, Mr. Stinson, were you taking this? Yeah, you were taking this one on, I think.
So with those visions made, I propose that we do the application.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve the application as amended. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Howe?
Just second motion.
Okay, so that's to approve. Okay, all in favor?
Thank you very much.
Don't thank us yet. Okay, that motion loses.
More to do because looking into it by you've got to do it by space.
Okay, so we did. So I did say the motion was moved by Mr. Dickinson and then seconded by Mr. Howe. That was approved. And it was all in favor, so it was only those 2 hands that went up. So the motion loses. So you need me to actually state. Okay, so For the record then, people dissenting were Ms. McCauley, Mr. Khan, nay, and myself, nay. So then second
Sorry, it was cut off.
Okay.
Hello?
Problem is that
Yes.
it's in the front yard.
You want to start again? Okay, so this is Ms. McCauley speaking now.
Yes.
I move refusal of the application. This application is in the front yard. It's a basement and 2 stories. I have seen where this has been built in Toronto and other locations. I believe that the city is re-examining the location of garden suites. Because we have the variance in front of us in the front yard, we have the opportunity to refuse the application. The applicant has the opportunity to reapply, but also I suggest that they pay attention to what the city of Toronto is doing in discussing the location of garden suites. They have said the garden suites are not located everywhere or can't be located everywhere, and they are reviewing the provision for garden suites in the front frontage.
Can I say something?
No, sorry.
After Khan, I will second the motion.
Okay, I'll just,
I just wanted to give your clients for views as amended.
it's refusing as amended.
Hear from the two members.
All I need to hear is that you are moving to, okay, I'm moving the refusal of the application as amended. Okay, and Mr. Khan?
I will second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
We need to have the record.
Yeah, just give me a second. Okay, opposed? Okay, so in favor of refusal was Ms. McCauley, Mr. Khan, myself, and opposed were Mr. Howe and Mr. Stinson.
I can't say anything.
Sorry, no, once it goes in committee, you can't say anything. I mean, unless you have a question to staff, we'll pass it on to staff, but no. In terms of the hearing, it's dealt with.
I know, but I had I saw the application this morning, had a garden suite proposal that they approved before in the front.
It doesn't matter, every application is different, so.
Right.
The chair, the committee has already dealt with the application. No further deliberations.
Sure.
For the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I can't hear you now. I'm on the.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Hello?
Gender bias.
My God.